All right, welcome to chapter 6. This is the Etruscan time period, the Etruscan culture. And right off, this example that I'm using right here does a number of things. It tells us what their burial sarcophagi are made out of, and that's terracotta. We have the reclining couple, which are made out of terracotta. And take a look at their hands. There's a lot of attention paid to hands, like they're gesturing. Sometimes maybe when you see an Italian movie and they're like really moving their hands around, that I feel that that comes way back to this time period. And it's significant because the attention, the detail is paid to the hands. Also, this is nice because the woman, even though he has his arm over her shoulder with a glass of wine, and she would be holding one too, is not an ownership. It is a really nice sharing of life and equal rights, if I can put it that way. All right. So we've got another map, and we're used to looking at Greece. I don't know if you can see my pointer, my mouse pointer, and down here, Crete, and then the Cycladic Islands. So I put this one on here because we don't need that for this conversation, but it's nice to know where we've been in terms of the class. So let's move a little over. I could do some fancy graphics and look at Italy. And this is where the Etruscans resided, is in Italy. Right now we're looking at the word Rome, and that wasn't even around during that time period. So these aren't names that we're going to see be used. And just closing into that a little bit more, Italy with the boot, kicking the ball across the Mediterranean Sea. This is Italy, and these are some of the significant cities. And I think I can call these city-states, which meant that they were independent of each other. That's going to be problematic. So take a look. Rome is right about here. Cerveteri is important, and Veii is important. I won't be asking you those city names, though, so I wouldn't freak on that one. Just moving it a little tighter to show us the Tiber River, the Tiber River. So Rome has water flowing to it, and it's not right on the water, but it has access to water. All right, these are Etruscan time periods. This is the Etruscans as Orientalizing, Archaic, Classical, and Hellenistic. Which one's missing from, like, if we were looking at the Greek time periods, which one is not on here that's on Greek? And that would be geometric, the geometric time period. So it looks like the dates are the same or pretty close to each other right there. We have 480, we have 323. Yeah, they're the same thing. 323 on until all of Italy became Romanized around 89 BCE. Over here on the right, I just had a couple examples what might be coming from that time period. They were significant in technology, creating methods to melt bronze and metal to do the sculptures and do weapons. It takes skill to get a kiln that hot if you're burning wood. All right, so these are the ancient Greek periods that we just talked about. I'm going to back up one, and then I'm going to move ahead again, and there's Orientalizing, geometric, Orientalizing, Archaic, Classical, and Hellenistic. All right, so moving into some of the artwork here. This is a fibula. It's a huge gold pin. It's jewelry. The style is repoussé, which is like a hammering, or maybe heating up little balls of gold and heating it up so oh, that's granulation, sorry. So repoussé is the hammering of gold to shape it the way they want and to get the thinness, because you don't want to have too much gold. That gets expensive. All right. So it is gold. It is 650 BCE. It's a foot high. That's pretty damn significant. That's size-wise, if you're going to wear that around. Do you think maybe that means it's ceremonial instead of practical? Take a look at the Orientalizing lions. Maybe I'll say that correctly. The Orientalizing lions. Where have you seen that? And we look at, I'm going to back up 2 slides. Well, just 1 slide here. The Orientalizing time period. So this time period is running 700 to 600. So let's see if that matches. And this is right in the middle. Right in the middle. And a detail. And they do have that look, that stylistic look to them. All right. Etruscan temples. I asked you, or I asked the class, I asked the video, the different aspects of a Greek temple. And one of the things that we learned is as the columns go all the way around the perimeter, you remember what we call that when we have a perimeter of columns? And it is called peripteral. Why are there so many columns in a Greek temple? Way too heavy, have to support the marble and the stone. Here, why are there not so many? And if you take a look, that these are wooden columns. Wooden columns. Why are there not so many wooden columns? And I'm going to move ahead just for the chart. And I'll bring it back. Not so many because the roof was made either of terracotta, which is a low fire clay, or wood. Let's go back to Egyptian copper. And why was that guy standing, the Egyptian guy with the big belly standing made out of wood? Why was that a significant find? Because wood will decay over time. So it is difficult to find anything intact because of that aspect right there. So check it out. It is Doric style. Down here, though, it doesn't go straight to the floor. There's a little bit of a base. I won't ask you that, but just making an observation. So where do you enter an Etruscan temple from? Can we go in from the side? The backside, maybe? Well, check it out. There are steps in the front. That's the only place you can enter if you want to do a high jump and land on there. But the normal planned entrance are the steps in front right here. We have terracotta, and all of these guys up here, guys and gals, these figures are terracotta. So a question that you may be asked in a quiz or an exam is, first off, what is Etruscans' favorite form to do the statues? And that would be terracotta. Also, where do the Etruscans place their statues? Normally, inside, in the cellas, but not as much as with the Greek culture here. Let's see, statues on the roof. There are 3 cellas, which are rooms, wooden Doric columns, and the entrance is right in the front. And we just answered this one. It's made out of wood, decayed and rotted over a period of time. And they placed their statues on top of the roof. All right. We've answered this one right here. Why are there so few columns? Because the ceiling is, and the roof is not as heavy because it's made out of wood and terracotta tiles. So at least the rain and the water don't go in. All right. The typical ratio for an Etruscan temple is 6:5. And I just threw this out here. How is my drawing? Is it a 6:5? I'm not sure. But if we move ahead a little bit, there's gridding that out correctly and then dropping that over my exam. So it looks like I'm off on the ratios a little bit, but it is a schematic diagram. All right, and this is just hanging here from Greece, just to show us again the peripteral columns on the outside. And check out, we have one cella in the front, and we have access to another cella in the back. All right, and I won't comment on that. All right, this is Apollo. This could be referencing Apollo. This is a statue that was part of a group depicting Greek myth. It's distinctly Etruscan. The face almost has that archaic smile, but it's beyond that. It's very distinctively, if I look at this or I see similar ones to this and I see this style, I'm going to say that's Etruscan. That's the Etruscan style. Check it out down here. Now, this is all made out of terracotta, which could break very easily. It's not very permanent, but this one's made it over a period of time. It looks like Etruscans needed a little bit of help holding the statue up, so they would put these in there. Didn't the Romans end up doing that? They were good at synthesis and copying, but they just couldn't get carving without having structural support. So they had to add this. So this is 500 BCE. It's painted terracotta, and it's 5 foot 11 inches high. And we know that's terracotta. All right. All right. We had a brief introduction to the reclining couple, the sarcophagus, 520 BCE. And researchers pretty much point out that this is equal, this is equality. They're buried together, which is, can I say a very beautiful thing. The Etruscan women had so many free rights to work, to handle business aspects. They were actually truly free to exist and pretty much to do what they want. Researchers are also studying and aware of there's a certain sexual freedom that women have in this time period where you don't see that in a lot of others because women are pretty much like objects, and here they're not. Now we're going to learn that there's a lot of things that, first let me ask you, who writes history? In general, it's a general question. Who writes history? And isn't the winners of any war, they write histories. And when they learned that Etruscan woman, the audacious Etruscan woman, had equal rights, and then they started to say all this other crap, like they would sleep with any but honey husband. They had children from other husbands running all over the place. It was chaos. And that was just probably a really angry culture, the Romans, not understanding this, not liking this, because I'm sure it was pretty damn offensive to the Romans. All right. And I say just a gesture because they gesticulate with their hands. They move the hands around when they talk. And I honestly feel that comes from this time period. Oh, those Etruscan women. So I did want to show you this video real quick. And I'm going to continue sharing. Give me 1 second because I'm still recording. I'm not going to click on these right now because it's going to mess up the recording for you guys here. I would like you to view this video. It's cute. Etruscan Girls by the Nays, and they're both of them are YouTube links, and they both actually work. All right, aerial view. Settlements. Maybe some of these are burial mounds. And this is an interior of the tomb of the leopards, called because of the leopards that's in there. So almost triangular shape, almost a pediment, but it's on the inside right now. And these are the leopards. Check it out. We have, if I say servants, maybe, maybe not, or employees, I don't know. This one here looks pretty naked, so maybe that's like a lower class person. We have a lot of men engaging each other in conversation or telling each other fishing stories, or maybe there's an eroticism element to that. And just a little bit of close up and attention paid to the hand gestures. And I'll leave these links for you. This one here is really cool with all the swallows and the birds, and he's diving from this cliff area. So it looks like a pretty cool thing to be able to do. So far, I don't think we've seen any warfare in this artwork here. We just see kind of celebration, maybe too much drinking, enjoying that wine too much. And this nature scene is really beautiful. All right. So technologically speaking, as far as metal smithing and getting temperatures up to melt metal, they were there with it. And that's something that they were known for. This is bronze. It's 2'7" high, and it's 500 BCE. And this is the story of Romulus and Remus. And I'm hoping I said the right names there. I know it's Romulus. And the myth says that these boys were left in the wild to die, and the she-wolves came around and suckled them and saved their lives. So you can see that both of them are getting ready to feed. So check it out. All this stylistic pattern around the fur of the neck and down the back, but also check it out. You see this poor, well, not poor, this wolf's ribs. And it doesn't look like skinny ribs. It just looks like strength. Check out the strength here in the legs, how big the paw is, and back here. So there is a lot of power, power in this. All right. This is very similar. This is called a chimera, which is a mixture of a couple of different kinds of animals. It looks like we have a serpent, we have a lion, and I'm sure I'm missing some aspects of this here. And another view. All right, so the date here, this is 2nd century BCE, and I have trouble with putting it that way. So if that I'm not doing math, but I'm just trying to figure it out. From 0 to 99 is the 1st century. From 100 to 199 is second. So this could be around 100s BCE. No, this is a sarcophagus, but this doesn't have that cheer and that sharing of wine here. This says it's somber and sad looking. This person here is very sad. This is Lars Poulena. And then there's a story being told on the front and a couple angels to carry away his spirit, quite possibly. Because the Romans, they've been battling for a while and they're basically losing it. They're falling to the Romans. That would worry me. I like this sentence. This is symptomatic of the economic and the political decline of a once mighty Etruscan city-state. So, perfect timing. Why did the Etruscans fall to Rome? Each of these Etruscan city-states was individual. It was independent of each other. The reason that they fell is they stayed independent when there was a threat from Rome, like the Greeks did. Greeks got together with all the Greek city-states and said, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to work this together. But here in the Etruscan time period, they didn't do that. So they were picked off one by one. There was also a rumor said that one of the kings was angry because his daughter spend some time with a Roman general or something like that, infuriating people just to justify, I think, the violence to another culture. All right, here we go. And I probably should have just clicked forward on this one. So in 396 BCE, and then all of Italy around 89 BCE. All right. If you were to see this statue somewhere, I don't know, we haven't been exposed to any Roman work yet, but we can come back to that and we would ask the question, is this Roman or is it Etruscan? And really stylistically, it is Etruscan. The Romans copied and synthesized. So could I say both? That mostly that the Romans, co-opted that. We're also going to see that kind of pose, the orator with the hand out and speaking to the public. We're going to see at least two more instances of that throughout the course. All right, that's it for Etruscans, and I'll see you next time.